the music you make is just incredibly moving, soothing, but inspiring at the same time. Is there a genre that you tend to describe yourself as?
Ooh, that's an interesting question because my work wife was asking the other day of like, what genre are we? And that's a really hard question because I grew up with Indian classical music, then I did opera, then I was in a rock band and a lot of films. So I think I'm a hybrid of a lot of sounds I grew up with. So I think it's, I don't know, sort of electronic, string, world. If you find a word, I would love to know what it is.
Well, speaking of growing up, what were or who were some of the people that you listened to that maybe influenced you as the artist you are today?
Definitely my grandmother, Lakshmi Shankar, who is an amazing, amazing classical Indian vocalist. I grew up listening to her. MS Subbulakshmi, who's another like India's nightingale. I listened to a lot of Nina Simone, Aretha Franklin. Yeah, just so many eclectic artists because my mom would listen to everyone. We'd listen to Madonna in the house. We'd listen to MC Hammer, just, the whole plethora of all different kind of music. So grew up listening to a lot of pop and Indian and rock and all sorts of influences.
This song you have out now is a beautiful cover of this classic single, Ever So Lonely, Eyes, Ocean. What was it about Sheila Chandra's song that made you and Charlotte decide we have to put our own take on it?
It's funny because I've been such a fan of Sheila Chandra from Monsoon to Real World. And that song is such an iconic song for me growing up and, have sung it so many times in the shower, in the kitchen. And one day I was singing it and I was like, oh my gosh, like I hear this other version and I hear everything going on in the world, Mother Nature. It just something happened. And I remember reaching out to Charlotte and saying, what do you think about this? What do we think about making this iconic song as an ode to Mother Nature and to Sheila Chandra because she's such a big influence for so many of us Indian artists growing up, obviously, and so many other artists. And it was just amazing to take that concept and make it into an ode to Mother Nature. It seemed very fitting to kind of move it into that space because we're talking about, the rivers and the oceans. And just Charlotte and I started talking about how so much of both of our musical traditions come from nature. And I think people know a little bit more. I mean, Inuit throat singing is something that people are now becoming more familiar with because of True Detective and things like that. But it all comes from Mother Nature. And as I was digging into my own Indian classical roots, so does ours. Like all of our vocal traditions, all the different syllables represent animals. And I don't think many musicians know that. So we were like, wow, it's such a cool thing from different places in the world and different sounds that come from nature to just pay homage to the song and what it means.
How did you and Charlotte craft your own take on the song and really make it each individual part your own?
Yeah, it was a fun experiment because I remember writing to her, I'm like, I know this is gonna sound crazy, and I had in my head that we wanted to make it like this massive sound of ocean, of whatever it was, all the animal sounds. And immediately she said, let's do the story of Sedna, which is one of their beings who protects Mother Nature. And so we started experimenting. We had met a couple weeks before in LA and we were talking about how both of our traditions come from nature. And so we started picking different animals, different sounds, and her tradition and my tradition is also very rhythmic. So there was something about that that really worked too, because our South Indian beatboxing system, Konoko, is extremely rhythmic. It's made for Indian dance. So we knew we were going to be rhythmic. And then it was kind of like we decided at some point it's fully going to be a cappella because we're representing women's voices. And there's nothing in the song that is not a voice. Even the drones are voices. So I think once we realized that, I recorded a bunch of parts, she recorded a bunch of parts. I was in the studio, we started mixing, we were video chatting. It was just amazing just how it came together and how naturally all these sounds from different parts of the world just fully fit into this because we are coming from nature. So of course it's similar.
Did you have in mind to sort of craft it in time for Earth Day, or did that just happen to be a coincidence that turned out so well for you?
I think we were talking about doing it, and then we realized, like, when do we want to put it out? And then we realized, oh my gosh, Earth Day is coming up. Of course, that makes so much sense. And then I wrote to Sheila Chandra because I was really scared to cover the song because it's such an iconic song for all of us. And I asked her permission, told her what the whole concept was. So that was amazing to kind of get the okay from her because I don't think anyone wanted to touch such an iconic song without making sure that it was okay with her.
Oh, certainly. Has she responded to you after hearing the song at all and making it her your own?
Yeah, she gave us like really good feedback on it. So I think that was the most exciting for Charlotte and I. We were kind of jumping up and down, going, yeah, because I think having her stamp of approval was the coolest thing of all because we're just such big fans of her and what she has done in music for women, women of color. It's just incredible how many doors she's broken open.
With this song, have you guys headed back into the studio to maybe work on an EP, a full album, something like that?
I think there's definitely some more collaborations in our future. There's a secret thing that we're working on right now, but I will tell you about it soon. And also, we're working on a film. I'm making a film called Promises of Our Grandmothers, which is about amazing Indigenous women who stood up to the pipeline in Minnesota for 3 years. So Charlotte and I are scoring some of the music for that as well. So stay tuned for that. That's a really exciting project, and I'm always so excited to work with Charlotte. So any chance I get.
I'm sure you guys have such a chemistry and this connection that maybe seems otherworldly. Have you talked about how you all fit together so well?
Well, it's crazy because we were brought together on this Netflix short film like 2 years ago, and there was a lot of other people involved. And then I reached out to her, and I remember the first time talking to her, and we just fully hit it off. I think so many of our philosophies are the same, so many things we believe in are the same, and it was just like an immediate friendship of, oh, I recognize this person in my life. This is an important person. And I think we met in LA about a month ago, 2 months ago, when she came here for the True Detective premiere. And it was immediate. I was like, of course. Oh my God, I love you. You love me too. Wow. So it was just like a personal chemistry, musical chemistry. So like, yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff in our future. It's pretty exciting.
You talk about what's next for you, and that's so beautiful. And I'm so excited for some new music, not just from you, but the two of you as well. Are there any live performances maybe scheduled to come in the near future for the two of you combining either to showcase this song or other works you've been crafting or had combined your music with before?
I think we're definitely looking into that. I think we want to do some live performances. Funnily enough, we premiered the song at Ebert Fest in Chicago about a week ago, and Charlotte actually projected from Ottawa, so it was really awesome. So we performed the song live from two different places, which was really beautiful. It was the first time we'd performed it live, so there's definitely going to be more of that.
Is there a dream collaboration you would love, someone you'd love to sing with in the future?
Oh my goodness, there's a few. Oh my goodness. I mean, I know Sheila Chandra lost her voice, but she was definitely a dream for a very long time. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Yassine Bey. I'm a big fan of Q-Tip. There's a lot of amazing truth speakers in the world that I would love to collaborate with. Hmm.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of this incredible, beautiful music that you make?
I think the whole point of the song is to have an awakening about Mother Earth, awakening to find your own voice. I think it's part lullaby and it's part awakening to who you are. And I think everyone has something that they want to do in their life. So I think the message is do one thing. I think we're in a time where it's very overwhelming to do anything. We're told every day everything is really difficult. And I think we're seeing a lot of anxiety, we're seeing a lot of depression among a lot of young kids. And I think get up and do one thing. Do one thing and it will move you forward. So I think that's an important message nowadays.